Good evening, everyone. All right, glasses. Okay, and most important, there we go. Getting comfortable. Okay, so my paint palette that I put up earlier with these colors over here, I can create all of those shades of pink with just these three colors right here. And we can allow grayish pink by adding in these two. So with these 5 colors, I can create so many numerous different shades of pinks and browns and tans and grays, you name it, with just these 5 colors. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is take off her wig that I'm going to be using on her. All right, get a good look. That is so weird. So one thing I'm noticing is compared to Caroline, if you have an original Caroline, the eyelids are not match the vinyl. I believe that her vinyl has changed color over the period of time. I believe this is a Caroline that I got off of eBay sometime a long time ago. Let's just say a long time ago. And or it could have been one that I got from someone. I just don't remember. So anyway, we are going to play with that and see what we come up with. There's a smudge mark up here. I'm going to see what I can do to remove that. Oh, it is showing long ways, making it look sideways. That doesn't matter. When I start painting, it won't look like that. All right, a little acetone here. Here we go. There. Yeah, very ultra thin, that brush. And this one I've had for a long time. It's one of my favorites. These are eyebrows, eyelashes, those type of brushes. Okay. This one is for lips and the nails. So when I get ready to do her manicure, I'm going to do something a little different. I am going to create the original base that I normally use, but I'm going to add a little hint of not pink, but you'll see it if you stick around and you're able to watch. You will see what I come up with. Okay, I'll do that last. Maybe I should do her nails first. The lips and nails. Normally I do those things last. Oh, I need to switch this here one for one that's already been opened. All right, there we go. I'm shaking up my paints. All right. I kind of want to do that. I also have a tinny that I want to repaint. Okay, so it looks like I already have her nails done. Yeah, I already did her manicure and pedicure, but do I want to redo it? Looks like I think I may have bought her new. Already I washed the body really good. Alright, I will just leave that over to the side. Now, let's get into the zone here. If you're coming in, if you're new, please hit like, subscribe, and the bell. Okay, and the colors I'm using tonight are the same colors that I used on this particular Rapunzel. So, yeah, same palette. Here, we'll turn it this way. I used very earthy tones when I made her over. Alright, to get me started, I'm going to play around the eyebrows a little bit with a pencil. I'll play with that one. Oh yes, I want to touch up the eyelids on this. Oh, no wonder so many people play with the pencils. It's so much easier. If you can draw on paper, you can certainly draw on a doll. Alright, Miss Spells, I really need you to do your job. Because I've been calling and I don't know if I need to contact your supervisor. But if you can sit and watch me paint, you can certainly do your job while I do my hobby. Yes, comments have been deactivated for tonight because I just want to paint. So I hope you don't mind. Alright. So we're going to turn this around and I'm going to bring it up close. So you can see the eyebrows that I have. I'm using these as a guide. So if any of you are beginners, let's say you're not used to doing paint, maybe paint is not your forte or what have you, and you want to come up with something, make sure your pencil has a good sharp tip and you can play around with eyebrows. For me, I will be using paint, but I'm using the pencil as kind of like a little guideline to do her eyebrows. I do not plan on doing her eyebrows with a very dark color because I will be painting on top of this. I'm simply using this as like a little Skyline tool. Okay. Okay, now for the rest, I will use paint. These are Prismacolor. For any of you that are watching, and if you want to know if you're curious. Okay. Okay. I'm going to zoom in. All right. Readjust my camera. Take it down. Okay. That's a pretty good view. Yeah. All right, so you get to watch me mix some paint colors up. So we're starting with eyebrows, and I want to keep a nice soft color. I'm using Americana, which Deco Art used to not be up here. It used to just be this brand by itself. Somehow I guess they went in together since the pandemic. You want to make sure they're shook up really good. All right. I like this shade and mixing it with this. This has sort of like a little reddish undertone in it. And so I want to use that color to mute that out. So I end up with a walnut brown. Okay. And this color here helps me neutralize the warm tones. So as you can see, as the paint dries, it gets darker. But this shade, this is gonna look, it'll look good with what I'm doing with her. I'm keeping it very neutral. Am I stepping away from my glamour look? Not really, but you know, this is just me simply playing around with different color palettes at this time. The more neutral toned, I want to say kind of like woodsy nature type stuff is the color palette. I'm really into that. So you think of things like trees, woods, dirt, creeks, all those kind of colors, the darker colors. And then you add in some more nature-like pinks. When I say nature-like, I mean, let's say you take pink and you add a hint of this shade of brown to remove a lot of rosiness, to give it more of a, not as bright pink, but a more muted tone pink, like antique rose or what have you. Yeah, I'm really into those shades at the moment. Someone asked me, did I do commissions? No, I do not. I haven't done a commission for someone in a very long time. I don't even know when the last time was, to be honest. When it comes to an American Girl doll. I don't have a store or shop for you. I mean, this is just my hobby, pretty much. So please don't be misled. Okay. Now, the thing is with eyebrows, you do not want them to be twins. Well, it depends. I mean, you know, depends if you have a more animated type paintwork. Of course, they're going to be more like twins. With what I do eyebrows more like cousins instead of twins. Okay. I'm going to take a little bit off in this area. Okay. Set that like that. Let me see. I knew it. I knew I should have got some toothpicks. Toothpicks are the best thing for that. Here. Okay. Okay, now that's drying. Oh yeah, that looks so. When I open the eye, you can see the color. Now, I'm looking on my camera. It really depends on what you're looking at. So if I, there, open the eye, it looks really good with this shade of brown. Um, so that you can see. Alright, Caroline has these mint green eyes. Now I need to touch up over the eyelids because they do not match her skin color. So I'm going to use a little bit of a wider brush. This one. I'm going to have to make it lighter. So I'm going to pour a little bit of this over here. Now remember, I only have 5 colors. So all of my paintwork tonight, I'm going to be mixing between 5 colors. Right now I'm only using 1, 2, 3, what is this? 3 colors? Now 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Just a hint of white. And I'm going to mix that in with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. So of all the colors, the only thing I have not used is my pink. This might work. So, I'm going over her eyelid. Yes, like this, and just one scoop, I'm done. Did y'all catch that? Now make sure it's evenly done because this dries quickly. It is acrylic. Now I'm going to hold that like that. Now as this dries, it looks a different color on my computer and camera compared to real life. But as this dries, it should blend and match her vinyl. It looks much better than the other side. Okay, now I'm going to turn it around this way and do the same thing all over again so the eyelids match. Now, when you're working with acrylic paint, it's easier to build on than it is to take off. So you want to really do thin layers, especially if you're like a beginner stage. You definitely want to go with thinner layers. It's easier to add layer upon layer instead of taking off layers, because if you have to do taking off, well, you just have to take off everything and start over again. Okay. All right. Let that dry some. And while that's drying, I'm going to come over. I'm going to add just a little hint. This is sable brown. Now, sable brown, right there. Oh, sorry. There we go. Sable brown. This is my absolute favorite shade of brown. Because I can mix it with anything. I blend it with all colors. It is my go-to color. I use this what we call a blender to blend. Let's say something's too bright or whatever. I can tone it down with that one color. So that is the color I blend with all shades of brown. I mix in with some blacks, as you will see in a few moments. All right, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit because I want you to be able to see me as I'm mixing these colors. Now, this is the sable brown right here. Oops, sorry. That is a sable brown. And this one is called ebony. And this is titanium white. And this color right here, the darker shade of brown, let me see, what is that again? It's called dark chocolate. So that one's dark chocolate. And the dark chocolate has a warm undertone. And I use this color to remove the warm undertones. So to give me a beautiful walnut brown. Now, I did water these colors down. They're drying, and as they're drying, it's blending perfectly with her skin tone. See the difference? That looks much better. Now, granted, it is watered down, so it's kind of like a thin tint on top of the eye. Now I'm coming back very gently, going back over the eye. There we go. Don't worry about it if it doesn't look perfect. That's fine, because once it dries, if you do it very thin like that, as it dries, it blends perfectly. It's fine. Once you put the sealer on top, you're good to go. Now, I'm done with the new color on the eyelids. So the eyelids have been refreshed. I don't need to retouch that again. The eyebrows, I'm pretty happy with these, but I do want to thin this part out a little bit. So I'm going to use anything and everything I can. So right now I'm going to use the end of this rat tail comb. And I'm going to touch it up with a little hint of paint remover. So I'm mixing the middle, put a little hit of that in there, and I'm coming in. There we go. It's okay if I take off a little extra, that's fine. That's an easy fill in. Now, come back over, get my eyebrow brush. And I'm going to dip into the darker color here that I've already pre-mixed. There we go. And I'm going to come in and fill those hairs in. You are not going to notice them until they're dry. Now take a little bit of this darker brown, chocolate brown, mix it into this. All right. Now, okay. Almost where I want it. So I'm going to come back in with a little hint of that. Squiggle in this puddle. Okay, that is good enough. That's great. So I'm happy with that result. Now, if I decide I want to touch it up, I'll come back to it. So, in the meantime, I'm going to do a little shadowing. Okay, I'm going to wet my Q-tip and bring these over. Move this over there. Move the comb over there. Okay, so for shadowing, I also use sable brown like this. Do a little more water, a little drop, and then come over here. Okay. I did this on my last doll. There we go. So when I'm making like contouring, I do my contouring where it's less noticeable. It's kind of hidden, and where it blends with the vinyl. There we go. And now to come over the nose like that. Nostrils over here like this and this. There. This is the classic face mold for American Girl. It is actually my least favorite. Why is it my least favorite? Well, to me, the nose is more like a snout, almost non-existent. I feel that the nose should come out a little bit more and then come under. This should be more inward, looking at a sculpting standpoint. So it's just my least favorite mold. But then again, this is not a face mold that's meant to look realistic. Now, I'm also going to take a little shadowing, go up and around the eyeball. Well, not the eyeball, but where you would do eyeshadow. Yes, Dixie. Miss Dixie Puss. Miss Dixie Puss. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm also going a little on her chin, and I'm going to blend it with my finger. Okay. It's already dry. See? It's already dry. Now, the way I do it, as you can see, I have a very bright light. I do it where it's more, like I said, I try to go for more natural look when I do that. So this is where I'm at this moment in my hobby. I am doing some contouring, creating a different look, or you know, maneuvering the look of the doll's appearance with my paint work and contouring with paint. Okay. And now I'm going to gently go underneath the eye as well. Again, my paint is very light. It is very light, so when it dries, it blends. Now we can see the eyelids. Her freshly painted eyelids blend much better with her skin tone. Yes, yes, Miss Kitty Kitty. Yes, you want to talk. Okay, very well. Here we go. Here is his big fur ball. Yes, Miss Winky Winky Winky. She just wants to say hello. Hello. Yes, hello. Say hello. Yes, everyone see how pretty you are. All right. Yes. Okay. So we've done the shadowing. Let me get up close. You can't tell off time. Now don't worry. She will get a little photo shoot when she's completed. But I really want you to see so far the paintwork. And at different angles. It gives it a very natural look. Oh my. Oh, well, she wants to take a look too. Well, there you go. What do you think, Dixie? This is why I have to be careful with my paints and the things that I use, because my cat likes to be in my lap. And therefore I can't use any kind of paints or sealers that have odors. And I can't go outside because my neighbors are elderly, pretty much, and I can't use anything that will cause harm to them or anything like that. Some of them are on oxygen, some of them have to have asthma and all kind of stuff. So this is why I've always stuck with my sealers that I use. Um, Permanent, non-yellowing, and 100% non-toxic. It has to be safe. But the good thing is, I've been doing this as long as I have, and I have dolls all the way back to 2012, and the paintwork still looks like it did the day I painted it. And a lot of other people have dolls by me, and they look like they did back then. All right, let's move on to her lip color. Okay, we're gonna set her head up like that. Now I'm gonna pull in my pink. Tonight I'm using Wild Berry Pink. All right, we're gonna play with this Wild Berry Pink. Now you'll be amazed. I'm gonna give you a little sample of the different colors I can make. All right, and we're back. All right, and we're back. Okay, this is the color I'm going to use. I need to zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna wet this over here. I'm gonna take a little bit of this and put it right there. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of the sable brown, put that right there, and now we're going to blend. I'm going to add a hint more sable brown. We're creating different shades. As you notice, each time I mix a color, it creates a whole new color. So between these two colors, I just created my second shade of this by simply adding the sable brown. Alright, now I'm going to add a different shade. We'll do that right here. Okay, now I'm going to come over here, add a little more with that. So we have 1, 2, 3 different shades of what I call antique rose pink. Okay, is that the color I want to go with? Because it's going to be darker. I'm going to hit this up with just a little hint of titanium white over here. This is what I want. No, Dixie, I'm not painting your lips. Now, someone might ask, why do I paint the lips to be so much more fuller? Easy. It gives the doll a more youthful appearance. fuller lips represent youth, a more youthful look, more feminine and girly. Because American Girl's lips look very plain and boring. Sorry, but you know, it's outdated. Very outdated. And I don't mean that offensively nor disrespectfully. It's simply a fact that they have not been able to progress and to move forward and to, you know, move, I don't know, just be a little more daring. Not exactly daring, but a hint more idealistic. Their color palette's fine. The natural color palette they call it that they use. Something wrong with it. It's fine. They just need to update the way these older face sculpts look. Okay, she's looking like a happy girl. Yeah, that's happy. See, those lips says, "Hi, I'm happy. I'm smiley." Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do now is come back to my paint. All right, we're going to take a little bit of this pink again, and we're going to put it over here. This is already drying up. Now, I'm going to do a two-tone type lip thing here. Okay. Now, do you see the different colors I'm making with just these two colors mixed together? I've created that, and now I'm doing this one. Okay. Now with that, I'm going inside. Okay. Now I'm going to gently use this hair color. Go up like that. Gently come down around these edges. Okay. All right. Okay. I like my lip to look smooth. I've seen where people do the little lines. I don't do that. The lips look chapped. It makes the lips look dried out and chapped, and yeah. So that's not my style. And that is why I don't do it. It gives the lips, like I said, that makes them look dried out and chapped. I like my doll's lips to look smooth and life is a mystery. All right, everyone. Sorry about that. My phone keeps going off. Everyone's calling, and I'm about to have company. So, anyhow, I am not doing eyelashes on her. I wanted to keep it cute, sweet, and simple. So I did do her little eyes, the little part right in there, like little tear ducts or whatever you want to call it. So yes, that part is done. The eyebrows are done, and the lips are done. I am not going to give her lashes at this moment. I'm going to think about it. So, in the meantime, this is what we have. I am going to go ahead and take my phone off. My device here. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. Okay, believe it or not, this is not how it looks in person. Oh, the zoom is on. I suppose so. The coloring doesn't quite look like this either. I'm looking at it in person and on camera. So yeah, the lips look they do not look as pinky orangey in person. Okay, so this is what we have so far. The camera definitely does not show that its full potential, for sure. Okay, so that is how she looks at the moment, and I will do a part 2 with her. We will see. So, oh, let me bring my light down, turn it around this way. There we go. And so this is our color palette. This is how we did our little scribble scrabbles. Okay, and so there she is at the moment. No sealer, no sealers have been applied. So it is still in the creating stage. Nothing is permanent, not even with sealer. Because I haven't decided if I want to do some little lashes or not. I will see. I don't think I am. I think I'm pretty happy with this. Once sealer's on, it'll look really, really good. It'll look much better. That's funny. On my camera, the eyebrows look a lot darker. So my camera has everything looking much more elevated with coloring. I wonder if there's a way I can adjust this. Can I adjust this? Okay. Did that do anything? No, not really. Take that off. Let me see. That brightened it. Okay, that might look a little more like it. She's done the shadowing. I don't know. I think I'm gonna tweak a few things up. Uh, yeah. Okay. So that's what we got for now, and I will let her set for a while and see how I like it when I get back. All right. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.